Hi everyone, my name is Lily and I am an optometry student. I'm headed to optometry school this fall and I just want to take some time to share a few tips with you all on taking the OAT. I understand it may seem like a big daunting task for you all who will be headed down the optometry path, but I'm here to tell you that it's definitely doable and hopefully these are some tips that you have not heard before that can make the process a little bit easier. So if you want to hear some more tips and then hear my own personal story about figuring out how I was ready to take the OAT, then keep watching. Okay, so my first tip is to seriously consider taking an OAT prep course, especially if you struggled with a class like physics or organic chemistry in undergrad. So those are two substantial parts of the OAT. So why I liked my prep course in particular was because these courses are specifically made to help you with shortcuts and how to tackle each section of the test, even if you don't know 100% of the material, which it's likely that you won't come test time. But knowing those shortcuts are really invaluable, and hopefully you can use that to get the best score possible. That being said, I'm not naive. I totally understand that those prep courses cost a lot of money. So as soon as you decide that you are thinking about the optometry path, or any medical path, honestly, I'd start putting money away for those prep courses. Couple dollars every month could help you, but really it is an investment in your optometry career. This could really save you from taking the test 2-3 times, which ultimately could look negative upon your application in the long run. So if you're able to take an OAT prep course, I highly recommend it. My next tip is to make a schedule. It really depends when you plan on prepping for the OAT, whether it's the summer or the school year, but regardless, fitting study time into your schedule is so important. For me, I was studying during my spring quarter of my senior year, and I was so busy with sorority and 2 jobs and class, and there was no way I was going to end up taking my OAT and doing well if I didn't really carve out time to study. So if you aren't typically a scheduler, now is the time to learn, because you're going to want to write that time in and really stick to it. My next tip would be to take as many practice tests as possible in order to simulate the real thing on test day. So if you plan on taking the book route to study, so you're not going to do an OAT prep course, but you're going to try to tackle it on your own with textbooks, more power to you, but you'll most likely get practice tests that are on paper. And at some point, you're really going to want to sit down in front of a computer and take a simulated test on that. For my prep course that I took, I think I got between 5 and 6 different practice tests on the computer, and in order for me to simulate the real thing, I ended up finding the back corner, quiet corner of a computer lab on my campus, got in as soon as the building opened because I had class at 11:30, and sat down and pretended like I was taking the real practice test every single time. That meant that I had my little tiny earplugs in that I planned on wearing during test day. I had the dry erase marker and the dry erase sheet that they provide you on test day. I had a version of that I would use just to get as comfortable as possible. So my last tip is maybe a secret to some of you, but the ADA, the organization that puts on the Optometry Admissions Test, actually will provide a fee waiver when applying to take the test. Now, it really depends what time of the year you plan on taking the test. Typically, if you plan on taking the OAT on the first half of the year, they will have more fee waivers available for you. But if you go on their website, you can get the cost of the OAT, which I think is close to in the upwards of $300, that price chopped in half. And all you have to do is go onto the ADA website, look up OAT fee waiver, and you have to fill out kind of an application explaining your story and why you want to take the OAT and things like that. But if you're lucky enough to get that, that is actually a really good financial help when you plan on taking the OAT. So those are all my tips. Hopefully those are helpful for you. But I did just want to share a personal story about how to know when you're ready to take the OAT, since it is such a big step and you're putting so many hours of studying into it, and you really don't want to take it more than once, or at least I didn't. So I scheduled my test for February of my senior year, and it was probably a week or 2 out from that test day, and I had taken 3 to 4 practice tests that I was provided, and I was not scoring in the score range that I would have been happy with if I got that score on my test day. So I was all nervous. I reached out to my friend who was in optometry school at that time and shared with her my scores and just asked for some advice, and she said that if I didn't feel comfortable, that was not the time to take my OAT. There was a price increase or a fee in order to push back the test, but I ended up pushing it back to April. So I gave myself a good month and a half of study time, which proved to be really beneficial. I took about 2 to 3 more practice tests, and something flipped, and I ended up consecutively getting a score that I would have been so happy with if I got on my OAT. So it really just goes to show that a few more weeks of studying could really be the difference between getting a mediocre score and getting a score that you'd be really pleased with. So if you have any more questions about taking the OAT or any other optometry school questions, please comment below. Feel free to ask me. I'd love to make some more videos to help you all. And I'm hoping to make a few more videos as I start optometry school in a couple weeks. So please reach out to me. Don't hesitate. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Good luck on your studying.